Well, welcome back. Just going to check we are actually live. Yeah, looks like we are live. That's good. So, I believe we're just going straight into the race, and the grid can be set based on the qualifying laps from earlier. The teams have just got to sort their setups out. We will get another formation lap. It won't affect the number of laps in the race because we're in a fresh lobby, and then we'll get cracking. I think the weather has been set to clear because that's how the weather was meant to be, so it keeps the same conditions. And Wazza leads them off for the second formation lap of the night. In fact, while they do the lap, let's just have a quick recap of what happened in Monza last week. So last week Jordan won, Hayward came second, Little Mikey finished the podiums, then had Hackett, Berserk, Ill Vision, who's not here tonight actually, Guna, then Chris, Brandon and Tom Putty, who was reserving, so got a point in the end. So there were the results from last week. And Wazza stuck it on pole tonight. He's got a big opportunity here. I've heard he cracks under pressure sometimes. So this little break might have just added a little bit of nerves into his cockpit. Guna will be sniffing blood. So strategies again. Actually, let's see if anyone did decide to change tyre choice. I don't think they did. That looks pretty similar. It's what we had before. Majority of the field on hards. Let's get rid of some of the menus ready for the start. And please give me the same camera angle you gave me earlier, because it was the best camera angle I've seen on this game. For the starts. And Wazza is coming round to line up. Right, behave yourself, Connor, this time. Don't park in the middle of everyone. Nerdy hopefully won't go driving off. Yeah, Connor looks like he's in a better position now. Okay, good. Nerdy was disqualified. Means he missed his grid box. Doesn't mean he's actually disqualified from the race. We should get the lights coming on. They are about to. Here we go. Wazza will lead us away. Can he keep the lead into turn one? The lights are out and away we go. Wazza, I think, has got off to a reasonable start. It's hard to tell from this angle, but Guna is going to come down the inside, and it looks like Chris wants to try and come through the middle. So Guna has managed to get the inside line, and he is side by side, and Guna is going to take the lead of the race. So it's Guna from Wazza, from Chris to Brandon, and Nerdy loses out to Brandon. Hackett is in 6th, Jordan 7th. Little Mikey is fighting Evan back here, and he's making a move on Jordan already. That looked like a lovely move. We're about 3 wide going into this corner. There's 2 Williams, and it looks like he's gone for a spin, and Wazza gets round the outside of it. Sorry, not Wazza, Little Mikey gets round the outside of it. And I'm not sure whether he gave him a bit of a touch there, but Wazza's all over the back of Guna out front. The Williams are going to have to sort themselves out. That's awful day for the Williams, as one gets spun and the other just takes over his line, so he can't do anything about it. We've got some more yellow flags. Where is my map? There we go. That's into the tunnel, and that's Nerdy going to the back of the field then, and my timings are broken by the look of it as well, so this is going to be interesting. Look, Brandon then is the first car that got through. Little Mikey then sort of makes up the second pack of the field, so they're going to get DRS in a lap's time. Little Mikey's got to try and close that gap up if he can. It's going to be a big ask. I don't know how far it is, but it's a long way. Look how many places Nelboy's made up. He's in 8th. Gunnar is in front of the pack. This is going to be hard for me to watch with these timings being wrong, so I'm sorry if I miss any overtakes. Bog looks like he's passed Evan. Is Evan in the pits? He is. So he'll drop to the back of the field. He must have picked up some damage. Gunnar looks plenty far enough ahead of Wazza for now. There's going to be no DRS on this lap. Chris is with him. Brandon's about 2 seconds back. Then got Mikey, who starts the second train of cars. He's got Berserk behind him. Nelboy up into 7th. Bog up into 8th. And then Connor in 9th. Sunken Shadow 10th. And then this is where the incidents happen. Hackett. But Evan, Jordan and Nerdy are all in the pits. So I think the closest battle is probably Chris up here. And hopefully those timings will sort themselves out. Let's see if I can try and force it into correcting itself. Not really. Okay, we'll just have to ride it out and hope for the best. And apologise now if I'm going to miss any overtakes. It's generally how I flip the camera, so I've got no idea. I'm running blind. So Brandon, we know, is in his own race there in 4th. The front 3 are driving away a little bit, and Mikey then is the start of the next train of cars, and you've got 3 at the back that have had to pit. What's happened with tyre choices? So Jordan and Nerdy are on mediums, Evan's on the hards. Chris is on medium, so probably want to try and get round these 2 in front, really, because they're going to be able to run longer into the race. Here we go. I think my timings are just about to sort themselves out. But let's just stick on with Chris for a minute. It looks like the closest battle so far. And here he comes. He's going to try it down the inside, but decides to pull out of that. Not quite close enough. He puts in a purple second sector. And Nelboy will have to keep an eye on. He looks like he's closing in on Berserk. And we'll try and keep an eye on Hackett as well, because he should be able to make his way through the field a little bit after that incident early on. It's going to be hard to get the off-board camera today because it's a street circuit. It doesn't give you the best camera angles. But here comes Chris now, DRS open. It's not enough to get onto the back of Wazza, who's just keeping in touch with Gunnar, and it's the right thing to do. You don't want to be fighting right now. Create some gaps in front of you, and look at Nell all over the back of Berserk. Can he get him down this straight? Don't think he's quite going to be there. He does look to the inside. He's not close enough yet, but he will keep that pressure on Berserk. And he's right behind him. He's going to get help in a DRS down this straight, and Hackett makes his way past Sunken Shadow. And I think unless Nell can do it now, he's going to have a look. He decides not to. Oh, and he pulls out and just gives him a tap. Okay, so that's not going to happen just yet. Is there anything else happening around here? Oh, Nell gets a bit sideways, and his teammate actually gets through in the end. So Nell actually ends up losing a place. Chris still 3/10 away, and look at Wazza, he's caught Gunnar as well. So these 3 are quite bunched up, and Chris on the softer compound tyre, so we'll probably want to get a bit of free air so we can make the most of them. Jordan putting in the fastest lap of the race from 13th so far on those mediums. And this is why you can't use off-board, because you don't get to see the race half the time. The field looks pretty spread out for now, but Wazza's getting help from Gunnar with the DRS, which is making it very difficult for Chris. I think Wazza would be a sitting duck without it. Six-tenths splits the two. Is the gap between the 3 cars at the front. Mike is doing everything he can to try and bring his way back to Brandon. He has split himself from the rest of the field. Might be been a bit of help from Nell when he... ooh, Nell Boy. Oh, Nell Boy's in the pits, that's why. And he's got a speeding in the pit lane. Hackett up to 9th now. I wonder if Nell Boy picked up some damage. That's probably what happened. Not too many incidents to talk about right now. We've got Wazza, Guna and Chris. And Chris chucking more speed into the corners. And the car in front of him, that might just be the grip difference. Mikey not really making much of an impression on Brandon so far, but certainly not losing time. He seems to be in his own little pocket now as well. Be interesting to see how quick Guna and Wazza will be when they get onto the mediums. But I think Chris definitely got a bit more pace in him. He's just being held up a little bit. We might need a safety car to spice this up a little bit, but I tell you what, Wazza is right on the edge of a second now, so he just needs to keep in that slot to make sure that Chris doesn't get an easy jump on him. I think he is going to keep it for now. We'll jump off board for a second because you don't get too bad a camera angle down here, rather than you having to listen to the engines constantly. And again, Chris through this section really strong. The problem is it's just not an overtaking spot really. Well, we can see Wazza just takes a bit of curb and settles the car. Chris sort of followed it. Guna didn't. You could just see how settled his car was. Both have got DRS again, which again is making it difficult to make a move. Bit of a DRS train really. I must say Guna's look pretty comfortable out in front on those hard tyres. And they will be happy about staying out as long as possible. Now the pack is pretty spread out, which means there's limited opportunities for safety cars, but again, I'm king of the jinx. We've got Nellboy who is having a look at Evan. Let's go and watch it just in case we get an overtake. So Nellboy in 12th, half a second behind. Wazza has closed in, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. Here comes Nell, looking down the inside, and Boggs made a move on Berserk. I missed that. But again, Nell pulls out. It's Nell versus Ferrari. It's the other Ferrari this time. And he runs wide. Let's get back up to this Boggs Berserk battle, because this seems to have been going on for a couple of corners. All looks to have sorted itself out now with Bog moving up into 6th place. Chris looking pretty close now. Nell does now get past Evan, and Wazza runs wide, and this is Chris's opportunity. He's now all over the back of him. He's going to get slipstream, and Chris is going to look down the inside, and he is going to get alongside. Wazza tries to turn in. Chris, the car's unsettled, and that puts them all out of DRS zone of each other. Let's go back to Berserk. 2 tenths back from Bog. This looks like an interesting fight. Oh, Berserk tries to take some curb there, and again you can see it unsettles the car. Just don't touch the curves around here. Hackett's another one to keep an eye on, but I think he's just dropped outside of the DRS zone. Looked like he was making some gains on Connor ahead of him. Waz has got a tenth of a second to find to get back in that DRS zone, and he's right on the edge of it. And he will probably find it through sector 2 because that seems to be where he's strongest. And actually, that little tangle up there seems to have brought Brandon into it, and he's not too far back now. And Mikey's kept within 3 seconds of Brandon, so if those guys at the front fight anymore, we could bring those two into it. But I think Chris is going to get detached here, and let's see if Wazza did get DRS or not. He did. So Chris won't have had it. So that is going to have a big impact on Chris then. But Wazza has made a mistake at the same corner, and he now drops 2 tenths further back and will not get DRS now, I don't think, into the main straight. But let's just have a look at Hackett. He's right on the back of Connor now. We're looking round into sector 3. This is for 8th place. See that Hackett takes a wider line through there, carries more speed, and just bringing him ever closer to Connor now. Sunken Shadow picks up a penalty, 5-second one for speeding in the pits. Joins Nellboy. As again, Wazza, sector 2, closing that gap back up. Sunken Shadow, like I said, is in the pits, and here comes Hackett. He's got a lot of overspeed. He's going to chuck it to the inside. He doesn't make the move just yet, but he is now putting some pressure on. And Connor knows he's there. Nerdy moves off the bottom of the grid. He's up to 13th. So, don't know if this next straight is quite long enough to make the DRS powerful enough to help Hackett here, but gets nice and wide. Connor makes a bit of a mistake on exit, so if Hackett, he's made a mistake on exit too. That was his chance there, really. And his teammate Jordan is on the back of Evan as well, so we'll keep an eye on that gap. And Connor's run wide again. But I think he gets away with it again because Hackett just looking a little bit nervous on the throttle. And you can see how that DRS has really hurt Chris. As Waz is back within a second just. Doesn't look like he's got DRS because he's not catching him that quickly. But sector 2 is where Waz is strong. And will probably get DRS back on this lap. And Connor, again, and Hackett both struggling really to get the power down. And I think this is Hackett's chance now. He's got a much better exit. He's got his ERS on, and away he goes. And that's going to be, with his DRS open, pretty easy overtake. So Hackett is now up into 8th. What about his teammate Jordan on Evan? And Wazza is back inside that second territory. So we'll get some DRS. But all the while that Wazza's had to push hard to catch back up, Guna would have been preserving those tyres, I'm sure. And without too many cars close on track, makes it less likely that we're going to pick up a safety car at some point. I mean, this man here will be hoping for one. Got caught up, unfortunately, on the first lap with his teammate. Not sure if it was his fault or not. Jordan seems a bit stuck here. There's a chance if you get a really good exit. We saw Chris have a go at it, but it didn't end too well. But Wazza is now right on the back of Guna. They're going through that sector 2. So let's just see if Jordan can make a move. He's going to get some DRS here. Probably the next straight if he's going to do it. We need to keep an eye on Wazza. He's right up behind Guna now. But this now is Jordan's chance. He gets a good exit, but Evan seems to have had a better one. Yeah, he's turned his DRS off, so I'm assuming he's given up on it for now. Let's go and have a look at Wazza. The pressure builds on Guna. So is it the next straight, or will Wazza just be comfortably keeping hold of his ERS? Because Guna might have to just burn a little bit just to stay in front, and Wazza might just say, yeah, you do that. I will bank all of the charge I can get, and I'll come at you later in the race. But here he comes. He's having a look, but he's not close enough. This is where Wazza's strong, through this section. Guna's trying to move him out of his slipstream there. Jordan looks pretty close on Evan this time, and he has got past him. So does use the DRS zone, waiting for the right moment. So he's through and up into 11th. Probably taking him a lot longer than he would have wanted to get past Evan there. But he's done it. And I think really for his race chances, he's hoping for a safety car. Because currently these guys are just going to be able to keep ticking down the laps. Coming for mediums when they know they're going to get them to the end of the race. They've got 4 seconds advantage over Chris. A further 3 seconds to Brandon, 3 more to Mikey, and then 7 more to Bog. So it's almost like you pit, and they probably come out somewhere around Hackett, I would say. So it's not the end of the world. Just going to have a sneaky look at Wazza's yeah, so he's using battery there to fix up a penalty. Our first corner cutting penalty actually, or track limits I should say, rather than corner cutting. Not really many places you can corner cut around here. The AlphaTauri of Guna continues to lead this race. Looks like Evan's keeping tabs with Jordan. It's the power of the DRS. And Connor's DNF, that could be a safety car. It's down into the hairpin after the bridge. It's a virtual. It's not a full safety car. Is that Nerdy that's about to come around and have a look? It happened just at the end of here, so I wonder what he's done. I wonder if he's gone straight on. Must have hit that wall, I reckon. But, like I say, it's only a virtual. So it just neutralises the race, but there are 3 people that have come in. Mikey, Bog, and Berserk. They're going to take advantage of the virtual. Unless they think it's full, I don't know. But so Bob puts on the hards to get to the end. Berserk and Mikey onto the mediums. And I think the mediums can get there. They might just be a bit squeaky getting there. But Brandon picks up a drive-through. For being too quick on the Delta. They're racing again. Oh, that's a killer for Brandon. And he's got these mistakes in him, unfortunately. Just needs to cut them out. And he'll win championships easily. But he's got a 21-second gap behind him. So he might be able to serve it and stay out in front of Hackett. But it's severely going to hurt his chances of getting on that podium anyway. Those front three now are in a race of their own. But you've got to remember, Mikey, Bog and Berserk have now pitted. And they've made the most of that advantage. But I do think that these front two have still got a pit stop in them. I think they've already got that pit stop advantage, so they won't be too concerned about those other pit stops. They might not even know, to be fair. Little Mikey's left the session. Why? Something must have happened. Must have disconnected or something, but he needs to get back in quick. And here comes Wazza. He's having a look at Gunnar on the exit of turn 4, I think it is. And he gets past with DRS help. Gunnar's trying to fight it back. He will not get the inside line there, though. And Wazza takes the lead of the race. Let's watch. From Gunnar's point of view, Hackett gets past Brandon. Brandon must be... He's not even serving his drive-through. Oh, he has served his drive-through. And that puts Mikey right behind him. Is Mikey an AI? I'm not sure. But Gunnar immediately has dropped out of the second. So look at Wazza's pace now. He's gone flying off. Mikey all over the back of Brandon. So Mikey must be back. And he is having a look at Brandon on these new fresh mediums. Brandon just about sticks it there. Bit of contact, but they're all good. Mikey wants to get this done, but just needs to make sure he doesn't lose time to Hackett in front. Remembering that Mikey has just pitted, so he doesn't want to get held up. But look at Chris, he's catching Gunnar at a rate of knots. Which is interesting. What's happened to Gunnar? I wonder if he's made a mistake and hurt his wing, because he's dropping back quickly. After again looking like he was controlling this race. Yeah, look, Chris is right up with him already. Gunnar, I wonder if he's got damage. But if he has, he needs to be coming in soon. Can I see anything on his car? It doesn't look like it. Maybe the tyres are just too dead for him. But Chris is on softer combat. You think his would be worse. But I'm assuming he's going to get him out of here, because this is where Wazza did Gunnar earlier. And there we go. But Gunnar is keeping his nose in there. Can't again. He has to pull out of it. And Chris gets through. So what's going on with Gunnar? Not sure, but Wazza has a 5-second lead. He's also then got a second to Gunnar. Seconds in the bank against Hackett. So Mikey's probably, other than Evan, is probably the closest man on track to the car in front. He's got to make the most of these mediums, but he also wants to get them to the end, so may not want to burn them out too quickly. He knows the two in front of him have to pit. So depending on what happens with Gunnar, I'm assuming he's got a pit at the end of this lap. I'll be interested to see if he does have a wing change. See if he does go in. But that looks like that's Chris in. And no, Gunnar's going to carry on. So Wazza's just got the pace on him now. These tyres are a bit worn. So Chris comes in. Let's watch and see what tyres he puts on. And we'll watch Brandon for now, who is gaining on Hackett. Both of these two are at the same point of the race. And on go the hards for Chris. They will take him now to the end of the race. And there he is, coming out the pits. So is Brandon. And Hackett going to get in front of him. It's, I'll tell you that the big one though is Mikey actually, because look at that. Chris was in third and Mikey's got sight of him. So that's the Mikey, the world of good. But I wonder how much rubber he's taken off his tyres. And he is within DRS. He hasn't got DRS. He needs to keep in that second zone. Because otherwise these three might just drive away from him. Hackett now temporarily moves up into third. He's got Chris all over the back of him on brand new hard tyres. And away he goes. So Chris is already through. Important for Mikey's race that he keeps up with this group in front. And look at that, he's taking tenths out of them because they're a little bit close together. Here he comes, look. Just got to, one of the drivers has dropped out the race, so just need to try and get him back in, so just give me a second. Just invited Mikey back. Looks like he might be an AI. Might have a problem. So what's been going on? Nell boy, look up on Hackett. Hackett must have gone into the pits. He has, and he's coming back out on mediums. Nell back up into 7th place. He's got 11 seconds to find Berserk. Berserk is 4 tenths back from Bog, so this fight carries on. And Bog is only a second behind little Mikey, who we think is in AI mode currently. Brandon's back into P3, but because of pit stops, looks like Guna's gone in actually. Where is Guna? There he is, an 8. So that wasn't too good for Guna, was it? So it's going to be interesting to see where Wazza comes out. Oh, as Berserk hits Bog. And he lets him keep the place, which is the right thing to do. Yeah, look, Guna's a long way down the field. That's very interesting. As Bog goes straight on. Overshot the corner, I think. Interesting. And here comes his teammate. Probably, I would assume, we'll have some team orders. Guna's now left the session. Have we got connection issues? Not sure what's going on. Not sure what's going on, but we have got Wazza in the pits. And we've got back out into the lead on fresh mediums. Huge for him. Brandon goes into the pits now. He's on mediums. And there's more yellow flags. It's Sunken Shadow down at just over the bridge. Is that going to cause anything? No, not actually in trouble. I mean, it could cause a virtual, but I think... Yeah, it's got going again. So that's fine. Berserk right on the back of Mikey, who I think is an AI. There you go. Berserk chucks it down the inside. Pushes Mikey wide. And now Berserk's up into the podiums. What is going on? And we have got a safety car. It is Sunken Shadow in the end. Did it into the final chicane. I'm assuming had really hot tyres from trying to turn round. And is it? Oh, it's a virtual. So this gives everyone a bit of a chance to get back into the lobby if they have been kicked out. Chris goes in and actually gambles and goes onto the softs. That's interesting. Maybe because he thought there was no way he could beat Wazza. Just got to invite another driver back into the lobby. 1 minute. Gunnar is now not in the lobby, so trying to get him back in because he was in a brilliant position at one point. And we're racing again. DRS has been enabled. Bit of a horrible place for Bog to have to restart. Mikey is 6/10 back from Berserk. And I think we've got Mikey back in the car. Could be wrong. Let's have a little look. No. Is it? I don't know. Now I feel bad for not knowing whether it's him or not. What does it say about you driving, Mikey? I don't know. But anyway, Chris on the softs, going to be moving forward quite quickly. He's got Bog on 6 lap old hards right in front of him. And he's the only guy that gambled. And what's he got? About 20 seconds to make up? I can't imagine he's going to get back to first. He's a long, long way back. And he's surely not going to try it back into there. Must have learned his lesson from earlier. No, lives to fight another day. 2/10 back. He's going to get DRS down this next straight. So surely this is it. DRS open. ERS on, I'm sure. And yeah, gets the job done. That was always going to be reasonably easy on the much softer compound tyre. Hey, Gunnar's back. It's good to see. He's down in ninth. We've got some damage control to take care of. Nellboy though, look, up into 4th place. 7 lap old mediums. Going to have Chris behind him in the not too distant future, I think. Those soft tyres are going to be hard to defend against, but it looks like he is gaining on Mikey. Mikey, I wonder if he can't be back in the session yet because people are just catching him at the rate of knots. Which is disappointing because he's got his way all the way up into 3rd. And we've just got to be a bit patient, but it's giving Chris every opportunity to catch up to him. So he's just got to hope that Mikey's AI car does the same back. Okay, just got to help the driver get back into the lobby. Okay, just trying to get back on. So Nellboy has cleared Mikey and so has Chris. And Chris takes a stab at Nell there and does get through. And there's some, looks like Gunnar's AI, or is it Gunnar? Little Mikey's been kicked out again. Gunnar DNFs round the final corner. That is probably, it's another virtual. I'm surprised not actually seen a full safety car yet. That's very unusual around here. But if that doesn't clean up, I'm sure there'll be some others diving in the pits. Not sure what's going on, but Gunnar and Mikey seem to be having a bit of trouble getting into the lobby. So I don't know if Gunnar just took over at the wrong time. Is anyone else going to gamble for softs? I mean, Wazza's 22 seconds ahead. He's quite happy as long as that doesn't turn into a full safety car. And if it does at any point, oh, there's a drive-through for Jordan. People are just not watching these the delta. I mean, Wazza is so far ahead. He's got a free pit stop, so he could gamble at any point. But Evan and Jordan come in. I think that's because they don't think they're going to make it to the end of the race. No other real reason to pit there. We'll probably dump on the softs and hope for a safety car maybe, but we will see. This field quite spread out. Nellboy has been passed by Chris. We saw that just before the virtual safety car came out. And they've got 2 seconds to try and catch Berserk. And if Nellboy can sort of keep tabs with Chris, then they should both catch him, I think. But if Nellboy drops out of that second, which he has now, he might find it a little bit more tough. I think Mikey must be back in the car now because he's keeping a bit more of a consistent gap to Nell. Bog's doing a great job in 6th there as well on hard tyres. Hackett 7th, Brandon 8th. Nell struggling to keep with Chris, but that's not a surprise. Much fresher tyres, much softer tyres. Chris now within a second of the Berserk, so it's probably the man to watch. And with the grip difference, I wouldn't be surprised this was done after the next DRS straight. Just look how much more confidence he's got. Yeah, he's already up there. This is going to be done by the end of the next straight, I think. DRS open. He's got his DRS on. Just look at the overspeed. Sweeps to the inside, and that's job done. So Chris back into second. Then he's got 22 seconds to try and catch Waz. That's a lot of work to do in the space of 7 laps, because those tyres will not be looking so fresh at the end of that stint. I think Nellboy is the man to watch now. Can he sneak onto that podium behind Chris? So just while we watch Nell try to catch up, try and do a bit of stand-ins. So Jordan currently on 118 points, then got Nellboy on 99 points. So this is going to be a big point swing for Nellboy, and that podium means everything to him. Illvision in 3rd on 89 points, not racing tonight. Mikey in 4th, who's currently 5th in the race. And is right behind Nellboy, but seems to be dropping back slightly. Then you've got Brandon on 58 points, Chris in 6th on 49 points, Hayward, who's not here tonight, and Guna, Hackett and Reliot make up the top 10. Reliot's also not here tonight. If Nerdy could pick up some points tonight, he could break into the top 10, but currently outside of the top 10. Anything could happen. We're in Singapore. There's walls all around, and Nellboy has found DRS on Berserk. Jordan's closing in on Evan as well. A bit further down the field. There's a chance we could see an overtake from Evan. From Jordan, sorry. So I'm just going to have a quick look at it. Don't think it's going to happen this lap. Not on this occasion. So let's go back to Nell. The exit of the tunnel. Bit of a mistake from Berserk there. That'll be reassurance to Nell. We might just line up a move for this next straight. is making the switch to the inside. What a move from Nell. Flicks it into the inside of the corner and makes his move. Job done. But Berserk's still trying to fight it around the outside. It's not going to work there. And that just slows him down, and it might actually bring Mikey into play. He's nearly a second away. So every point Mikey can pick up is good for him as well. And that was a good couple of corners there from Mikey. I'm not sure. Oh, that's the detection zone there. So he is going to get a helping hand here, I think. Let's watch it. Yes, he does. Can he maintain it now? That's the question. Just dropping back slightly. Wonder if he's put a bit more wing on the car. Got Hackett on the back of Bob. 5 tenths. And Jordan's on the back of Evan again, just 2 tenths back. Not a chance for a move just yet. I think Jordan will stay behind just for this next couple of corners, and I think Hackett is probably going to try and make his move at the end of the next straight. It's a popular overtaking spot, and Brandon's just waiting in the wing for it as well. And Jordan gets a bit messy, so is that going to give Brandon a chance then? Oh, this is going to be close to being free wide. Jordan's going to have a look down the outside, and he runs wide. Oh, yeah, and Bog then gives up the place to Brandon. That was just going to become a mess. I think Bog did well to get out of that. But now Brandon's all over the back of Hackett. Chris not really closing that gap there in second. Nellboy 4 seconds back. So he's managed to break Berserk, but Mikey all over the back of Berserk now. Now he's lost that DRS. Mikey's looking a bit feisty. Not quite going to be close enough there. Could have done it, but it would have been risky. So just wait for the next DRS zone. He's well within it. And we're coming back down to that popular overtaking spot. So got to get this corner right, get the exit well. Looks like he's on the power better. DRS open, ERS on, and Berserk is just a sitting duck there. Going to be no response to that, and Mikey is through into fourth. He's got 3 seconds to close Nell, but he's only got 3 laps to do it. It's not likely unless Nell's tyres are off a cliff, but if his are, Mikey's probably are too. He'll be disappointed with the disconnects tonight, because I think he would have had a real chance of something a little bit more, probably third in reality. Berserk is keeping tabs. He did this with Nell though. And as soon as you lose the DRS, that's game over at that point. But Berserk might be able to fight this back. Oh, and he runs very deep. He's not going to fight that back. What happened there? I think there's a bit of a disconnect. I think I saw something that didn't actually happen. So yeah, a bit of an odd one. He's dropping out of that 1 second zone now. He did run a bit deep, I think. And Brandon 4 tenths back from Hackett. Can he get him before the line in 2 laps time? Going to line him up for a move here. Hackett's done well out of that corner, but I think the DRS and the ARS together is going to be too much for him to... Oh, there's a bit of touch there. Brandon's got the inside line. They're side by side. Hackett managed to fight it round the outside. That's brilliant defence. And keeps the place. So Brandon couldn't quite get his elbows out to make it happen. He's got one more or two more? Probably two more actually. Is Wazza's, I think, is that Wazza coming across the line now? Yeah, so he clicks over into lap 30. Brandon, if he gets a good exit here, we'll have an opportunity again with the DRS open. Oh, look at the overspeed here. He goes down the inside this time. They're going to be side by side again. And Hackett gives him a bit of a nudge. They both manage to survive it. And Hackett comes out just in the lead. He's going to have the inside line around the corner. But Brandon's nose is still there. Not close enough. And I don't think he'll be able to do him under braking. So these guys just got to keep their heads on. They're fighting hard. Nothing intentional that I've seen. Just got to be careful. Here comes Brandon again. Probably not here. He's going to wait. And again, it's all about the exit off this next corner. Get the exit right and you will keep the position, or you will gain the position. But Brandon is going to have all the tools to try and overtake. And he just gets a bit sideways, so he will catch him. But yeah, he's got to do it on the next lap. He's got one more chance. Jordan is still stuck behind Evan. It's not been his best race today. Very unfortunate with the lap 1 incident, to be fair. Brandon gets the exit again, and he is going to have another go here, I think. Is he going to go... Oh, the outside was closed, but he does manage to get to the inside. Oh, and he's hit the curb this time, and I think the first one might have been on Hackett. The second one is definitely on Brandon. Hits the curb, it unsettles the car, and as Hackett was turning in, bulldozes him. He might have just given up his chance here to get that place, but he's still within a second. So he's got to use the pit straight now to get as close as he can, and Hackett runs wide, and I think Brandon has let him keep the place there because he wants the DRS maybe into the next section, but Brandon has to get the exit right. It's all on Brandon getting it right. I don't think it matters too much about what Hackett does because Brandon's going to have all of the tools, but it's Brandon letting him keep the place. I think he might be. Well, what we're going to do then is jump on with a guy that we've not really seen all race because he's just been miles ahead of the field. 26 seconds ahead. Waz has had a day today. Didn't get off the line too well, but cleared Guna eventually and just drove off into the distance. And Wazza is going to come round to win Singapore. Congratulations, Wazza. Brilliant race. Brilliant race. You've absolutely dominated. Chris then had to overcome Guna. Guna had his own problems, but Chris puts on the softs, and I think they're just about burning out because Nell is catching him, but it's not going to be enough. Chris is going to get over the line and take second place, almost 30 seconds behind Wazza. That just shows you how good a job Wazza has done. And here's Nell over for the podium. Mikey probably would have wanted more, but fourth, good race nonetheless. And Berserk flies round for a good result as well in fifth place. Hackett with a good recovery, and you can see Brandon's just behind him, so I think Brandon might have just said, yeah, I made a mistake there. Oh, is Brandon going to try and take it on the line? He doesn't. Hackett does come through into sixth place. Brandon then seventh. Bog comes over in eighth. Good drive from him. Evan then flashing lights from these two. Evan and Jordan, they've been fighting for a while, but Evan will come over in ninth. Jordan will take the last point. And Nerdy, bless him, who was the winner of the feature race, which was just him involved, comes over in 11th. And unfortunately, doesn't pick up any points tonight. I think he might have got caught up in some shenanigans in the first lap. But Nelboy's been given driver of the day. But my vote, I think, is going to go for Wazza. He was utterly dominant. He picked up pole in qualifying. Although he lost the lead off the start of the race, as soon as he got past Guna, that was it, game over. That was his race. And he's looked a class apart today. So that'll give him confidence for the rest of the season. Well done to you, Wazza. And then we've got Chris, who also has had a phenomenal drive, and Nelboy to come from the back of the grid to take the final podium place. Has done it before. He will probably do it again. So Wazza in first, Chris second, Nelboy third. We've then got Little Mikey with a great race in fourth, Berserk with a good result as well in fifth. Hackett recovers from an incident in lap one. Brandon got a drive through, could have been way better for him today. He's in seventh. Bog hangs on for eighth, does what Bog does best. Evan in ninth. Jordan picks up the final point in 10th. And we've got Nerdy, who was the last of the finishers in 11th. And we've got Guna, who again looked quality today, but had some internet problems, I think. Sunken Shadow in 13th, DNF'd. And then Connor also DNF'd in 14th. So some pretty good racing out there. A couple of virtual safety cars. But thanks for joining us. Thanks for sticking it around as well whilst we sorted the lobbies out. But for now, goodbye, and we'll see you again next week.